Welcome back to Making Good Choices Monday. I'm Becky Amio, and if you want to know the safest place to be around the horse, then stay tuned. We're going to get into it right now. So, do you guys ever see those really cute pictures of foals shortly after they're born, and they reach forward with a hind leg and they're scratching their ear or scratching behind their head? And it's so cute how flexible they are and how much they're capable of doing when they're little teeny babies like that. And the truth of the matter is that they're capable of doing that when they're great big too. I don't look at that, and maybe I'm just really jaded by it, but when I look at that, I don't see this cute little baby scratching their ear or scratching behind their head. I see an animal that's capable of reaching forward with a hind leg and kicking you forward. We're always taught, don't go behind them, or don't spook them from behind because they'll kick you. Well, they're just as capable of taking that leg forward and getting you as they are behind. And the truth of the matter is there is no safe place around horses. The safest place around horses is to not be around them. Now, the experience that I had, I was fortunate enough not to get kicked, but it was a very, very real experience, and I'm going to insert some video in here and just show you on a very broke horse what I was doing and what was happening. So it was one of the first horses that I had worked on when I first came to South Dakota, and he was just a little bit different. He was halter broke, but he was just a little bit different, and I had gotten my surcingle on him. That's one of the first things that I put on them when I'm starting them with groundwork and teaching them about having something under their belly and tightening up in their girth area. And this colt, he wouldn't let me get it off of him. So he lost his damn mind when I put it on and I got it tight and I sent him around the round pen. I mean, it was quite the bronc show. But when I gathered him up, caught him up, and it was all said and done, and I was trying to get it off of him, he was reaching forward to get me. Now, I'll insert a video here, and I was holding him with my left hand, and I was reaching, trying to get this surcingle, and he was swinging that leg forward and trying to get me. Now, I had a very, very good vet that was a personal friend in California, and she would always have me stand a certain way if I handled a horse in her presence. And it was always to help prevent if they were going to kick you, try to get away from them. Well, they will always be faster than you. You will never be at their level. I will never be at their speed. They are so quick, and their reaction time is so much faster than us, that it's very humbling and scary when you really sit down and think about it and reflect after you've had an injury. Okay, so let's pretend this is that colt that I was working with here several years ago. And I was holding him like this up here, and every time I would reach back to grab that cinch, he was reaching forward with that hind leg and trying to kick my hand. And so if I got any closer to him right here, he was going to get me. And like I said, the very good friend that I had that always wanted me to handle them a certain way, if she had me reach underneath them to clean or to wrap a leg, she wanted me to reach like this, and so like I could come this way. But the honest to God truth is that we're not fast enough. If they want to get us with that hind leg, they're going to get us. We're not going to be able to jump back fast enough. So for me personally, I prefer to stand like this if I'm going to do any reaching on them. And I don't know if it's good or bad. I've been hit in the back of my leg, in the back of my calf, in the back of my arm. And like I said, again, this is a story for another date, getting my arm broke doing it this way. But I haven't taken a kick to the face by reaching this way. But this colt, at the time, that was just losing his mind over me trying to take the surcingle off at this point.
I had a hold of him right here. Now you can imagine his head's elevated. He's worked up. We're spinning in circles. He's walking constantly. He won't stop moving. I'm trying to stay in this position with him. And thank God he wasn't trying to strike with either of these front legs, and he wasn't trying to bite me. But I was hanging on to him right here. So worst case scenario, if he moved and I kept a hold right here, he'd just take me with him. And then trying to reach back and get the surf single off him and not get kicked in the process. And boy, that's when I really had the revelation that, man, they can get you. If they really want to get you, they can get you.
So the way I kind of relate to a horse that I'm not really sure of yet, that I have not been able to work with very much and really kind of get a good feel for their reaction and their responses and what sort of temperament they have, because all of them have a fight temperament or a flight temperament or a combination of both. And once you figure out what they are, you can kind of, or at least I can work with them accordingly depending on their disposition, because every horse is going to be different, just like every child in school is going to have a different learning ability and disability, if you will. Anyway, so I kind of go in and I think, okay, what part of my body am I willing to sacrifice? And after you've been hurt as much as I have with the numbers that I've worked on, I have decided that I'd rather be hurt from the back side and not the front side. And so like when I do things like reach underneath them, I tend to reach with my back turned to the hind end, and I'd rather them get me in the back of my leg, in my hamstring, in my calf, back of my knee, back of my arm. I'd rather them do that than get me in the front side. And I also would rather protect my face if they were to kick forward and get me in the face. So I just kind of keep that in mind when I work on them, and know that that's a very grim, real possibility when I'm working around one. Now, I have been kicked and have had my arm broken, but that's a story for another Making Good Choices Monday video. But in this instance, this horse, the way I was holding him and he was taking swings at me with that inside left hind leg and trying to get me, and it was everything I could do to stay out of his way. So yeah, reflecting on that, knowing better now, that horse did go home. He did not advance anymore in the curriculum. There's too many good ones out there that want to get along, that want to be well behaved, that want to try to work on something like that. At one point, I did work on things like that and I could get through to them. Anymore, it's not worth it. There's too many good ones. There's too many well-bred ones. There's too many that are pretty, that have good dispositions, that want to be somebody's forever horse, to work on something that wants to be aggressive and mean and not compliant to any sort of training, any sort of approach that you may take. Because somebody without the knowledge and experience, they're not going to know how to handle that sort of behavior, and it's just going to escalate and it's going to get magnified. And somewhere down the line, we're going to find that horse running through on the loose somewhere, on a truck headed out of the country, and we don't want that. So anyway, kind of a short Making Good Choices Monday this week. I hope you guys make good choices today and have a great rest of your week. And I hope that helped you a little bit the next time you approach your horse. And I hope that helped you appreciate what you do have at home, and, go give your horse a hug and give him a pat and tell him he's a good boy or she's a good girl, because there are some out there that do want to get you, and it's just a matter of identifying which ones those are and quietly moving them along and going to work on the next one that does want to get along. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for tomorrow's training tip Tuesday. It's a good one. We're going to work with a colt and with a riding mare. So stay tuned. Have a good one.